Definitely seeing from the red side all just very meta bands. Whereas on the blue side, we're definitely seeing more kind of targeted bands. Waiting to see what the first pick here is. I'm gonna just do a little research into N8LP. Okay, very interesting. We're gonna see the Darius top pick come in. Um, Very strong champion, very strong lane bully. However, if you've been watching Worlds, if you've been watching all the professionals playing, you'll kind of have seen that Darius top. It's a very strong pick, but it lacks global presence and it lacks mobility. It's very easily countered by the likes of Gnar or any other ranged champion top that can farm safely as long as they don't feed. And if you get into a lane swap scenario, which in the previous season we started seeing a lot of teams actually imposing lane swaps at the end of the season, Darius doesn't bode that well. And there you go. I'm not surprised at all to see the Gnar top pick. I think it's a good pick into this Darius.
Well in terms of the 1v1 matchup, but let's see what we have here. We have the Eve Hover. Eve has been pretty strong. I say she's still a pretty good pick in terms of her flanking ability. As long as she can get the flank around into the team fights, it's very, very strong initiation.
Do you think this is Jungle Echo going to be coming out or mid Echo from the blue side?
Could be a flex, honestly. I have no idea what to expect right now, but in my humble opinion, I say that Tank Echo and both Mid Echo are still very good, although the Tank Echo did get nerfed in one of the patches to make it be more
That was in this patch,
attractive.
correct? Because the Worlds patch that they're currently playing on, he's still buffed. Like, he's still fine. But I think it was this recent patch that nerfed the tank side.
I believe it was actually a while ago. I believe it was might have been patch 5.15. It happened a while ago in terms of lowering the base and then upping the ratios on his abilities.
Got it. So we are going to be seeing the Eve lock-in as well as the Morgana probably support. I'd say 90% Morgana support. The Evelynn is always a fantastic pick. I love seeing it both in professional play and last season in intro. The Evelynn just creates this environment in the game where all the players on the purple side, they have to play anticipating a gank 24/7. It really changes the dynamic of laning phase. And even in a winning lane, for example, Gnar and Darius, we've been talking about how Gnar has an advantage, as seen in Worlds. Even in that scenario, you always have to keep in the back of your mind, oh, is Evelynn about to gank me? Can I go offensive? Can I go for a kill? Do I need to stay back on my turret? I love the way that just the pick itself creates such this game-changing mentality in all the other players.
This is very true. Unless you have the vision control around the map, you have no idea where she is. As if you guys haven't known, the best way to counter an Evelynn in terms of gameplay inside on Summoner's Rift is to have vision around her camps. Because if you see what camp she's doing, you know what side of the map she's on, and then you can play safe till you see her go across to another side. Now we have Lux and Vayne lock-ins right here. I'm not that big a fan of the Lux pick. I'm not sure if it's going to be either Lux support or Lux mid. It's still being a slight flex pick here, but I'm just not a fan of the pick in general. I know she received buffs in terms of lower mana costs on some of her abilities. And we have the Kog'Maw lock-in, so that's going to be Kog'Maw mid. It's going to give nice long-range damage. It's going to take a while for him to scale up, but once he gets past to the mid game when he has Luna's Echo and he's stacking that tier, he's forced to be reckoned with.
So it's probably it's going to be the Lux mid, and the reason being is I'm looking into Bazel's play history. The anti-ban was targeted towards Bazel because I remember now Bazel is the player with over 800 anti-games this season alone. So definitely a targeted ban there. So it's going to be the Lux mid with a hover over Nami. Vayne into Jinx. Jinx would actually have the slight lane advantage in the first few levels just because of her range advantage. However, a lock-in such as Nautilus would provide really good lockdown onto the Jinx. It would just be up to Revelize to be on point with those black shields. But no, we're going to be seeing the Nami locking.
I actually do like the Nami pick for this. It offers a lot of good disengage against the Nami, and I really do like that. Although it's going to be a little hard in terms of like this gauge against the Morgana because you have to play around that whole black shield. You can't really slow and then knock them away if you have the black shield on her Morgana, or maybe the black shield on the Evelyn by chance if Morgana's flanking with the Evelyn. But we'll see what happens in terms of team fight initiation and execution.
So definitely something almost common, I would say, in Intralo is obviously our level of play is very different from professional levels. If you were to see, for example, the blue team, we kind of have like this mixed kind of squad. We have a Jinx, we have a Kog'Maw mid, so definitely two hyper carries that perform, from long distance, kind of poke-ish champions. And we have an Evelyn and a Darius frontline, if you will, who just kind of want to smack straight into your face. So definitely kind of a mixture of teams, not necessarily a team comp with one identity. Whereas on the flip side, you have I would say Purple Team is a pretty solid team fight. They have the disengage with the Nami, they have the engage with the Gnar, with the Echo, they have poke with the Lux, they have a little bit of everything. So in that regard, I think the Purple Team side would definitely have a strong mid game as long as they can get their team fight coordinated. However, they do have to be very careful of this roaming Evelyn, potential roaming Morgana and TP Darius roams.
There's one thing that should be mentioned is that the blue team has a lot of long range with the Jinx and the Kog'Maw. It's going to be very hard for Vayne to deal DPS against targets. Now, while she can deal the damage pretty effectively to the Darius, I have no idea what's going to happen in terms of just the team fight initiation itself, because you have Morgana's Soul Shackles, you have the Evelyn Hate Spikes, and it's just going to be really crazy to see if Red Side wants to play a more kiting back type of play style, because you can't really go forth onto Team 6 just because of the sole fact that you have the Kog'Maw slows, you have slows from Jinx and the traps, and then they just have just so much more long range over you.
Absolutely. I'm going to be interested to see, definitely for the first couple minutes of the game, we're going to be focused mostly on the jungle routes that this Evelyn and this Echo like to take. I know coming from Kyle Ireland, Ornarok, he's played, I played with him a bunch of games. He plays Evelyn jungle a bunch. And I know that there are a lot of strategies you can do to, for example, cheese lanes. I know Evelyn's can do red buff first and then immediately gank a lane level 2. They can also invade the enemy jungler's red buff or blue buff, depending on what side you are, and try to first blood the enemy jungler. So I'm interested to see how the real Slim Shady is going to be taking this pick and which kind of aggression route he's going to go.
This is true. I feel like if you want to fight against the fact that Evelyn has the pressure to counter jungle, you as Echo and Gnar want to do that double jungle, because it is very hard to kill someone and when you double jungle, because it's a 2v1. If you try to fight one of them, they probably have the advantage against you right there, unless you're gonna interrupt their double jungle with you and your own top laner. So we'll see what happens in terms of that play.
Well, just 30 more seconds before the delay is over. We're about to be getting into the game here. Once again, everyone, we here at the streaming would just like to apologize for the delays. It's going to be a little bit of a working experience this first weekend, just to try and make sure everything gets set up properly. The schedules are up to date, rosters are up to date, and everything gets formatted properly. And then hopefully next weekend, everything's going to go extremely smoothly. But for right now, we thank you very much for your patience, and we look forward to having a really great first game. So we're about to get into the looming scene right here. Do you jungle or something? I haven't even asked you yet. Do you? What's your main role?
Oh, I'm an AD carry main, but I have jungled in the past couple of times in solo queue for like friends of mine for their ranked teams whenever they need a fill.
Mm-hmm. Who would be your main carry if you had to say?
I would have to say I'm like a 3-trick in the sense. I like Corki a lot just because his Trinity Force Power Spike is really, really strong. I'm also a very big fan of Callista. She's actually really, really good to play. Like, even though she's been getting nerfed a bit here and there, I think some of her strength is still there just because she's literally the only AD carry that can infinitely kite in a team fight or like in general.
I bet you've been happy watching Niels play on Origin this week.
Oh yeah. By all means, I've been very, very happy with his Kalista play.
Absolutely exquisite. Just to for anyone joining right now, or for anyone who may have missed it, these are teams 6 and 4 playing in this first week. Team 6 being team set for fail. That's the blue side on the top. In the top lane is going to be Boop Bop Bam on this Darius. Revelize is going to be, or excuse me, Real Slim Shady is jungling. Meta World Evil on that Kog'Maw mid. AD carry Muilo and support Revelize. And then on the purple side is going to be Team 4, Team Dada Destroyers. In the top lane is going to be Improbable. In the jungle, Fly Guy Rich, the captain. In the mid lane is going to be Bazale on the Slux, AD carry Strajaja, and on support, and Sekla. But as we were talking, yeah, so I definitely think that while Kalista has been hitting, been hit a bit with the nerf hammer, I definitely think she's still in a great spot. Definitely Tristana and Vayne as well are really strong ADCs in this meta, and I think they have so much potential outplay. So no Tristana here, but we do have the Vayne, so I'm interested to see how.
This is true. When it comes to AD carry picks that can counter Vayne, Tristana is one of them.
To go back onto your previous point, though, I'm going to be interested to see how this Vayne's going to be able to deal damage, having to, avoid this Evelynn, avoid this Darius, because if either one of those two carries get fed, they can just ruin this Vayne's day. And then all the while, they have to dodge Jinx Rockets, dodge Kog'Maw poke, so it's definitely going to be quite the task for Strajaja, but I'm sure with that, level 5 Vayne mastery, that there's some experience behind the pick.
So far it seems like we might have an interesting level 1 right here. It seems like both teams might be meeting at the blue buff.
Definitely going to be
checking. There is the potential Morgana Q snare onto Echo as they're going to focus fire onto Echo. He flashes away, but he has a Darius bleeding on him. Will he live? Meanwhile, target switching to Nami. Kenda flashes the Moor snare, and it looks like, but we have the Darius flash before as well. Nami pops the biscuits, and then Exhaust as well gets burned.
What do you think? I'm pretty surprised there wasn't a kill right there.
When it comes to the Summer Spell picks that were happening, we see that we have the Exhaust instead of the Ignite. If the Morgana ran the Ignite, or maybe she ran the Exhaust too, actually would have gotten a kill for one of them, especially the Exhaust and the Echo, because, Exhaust lowers the armor and the magic resistance of the target. That probably would have been enough to secure the kill.
Well, damage is done. Both summoners burned on the Nami, I believe, and then flash on the Darius. Flashless Darius top is actually something a little bit to be concerned about. While yes, Darius is somewhat tanky for a level 1 top laner, I definitely think an Evelynn and an Arc can easily take him down if he overextends in the lane. So I'm kind of expecting if Real Slim Shady here isn't going to go kill the enemy jungler, he's going to go kill Darius. He's going to camp Darius top lane.
I'm more afraid for the Nami because Nami's a very squishy champion in these early levels, and a Nami with no flash or exhaust seems like a really prime target for an Evelynn gank.
Absolutely. I'm interested to see as well this mid lane if Lux, because I believe that the Lux in the mid lane is going to be able to, at the very least, harass Kog'Maw out of lane the first early levels until Kog'Maw gets some, level 6, maybe with a tier, and starts getting a lot of mana enough to farm. But until then, I think we should be seeing Bazale push Meta World Evil out of lane.
This is true. Kog'Maw needs a lot of experience, items, and gold just to scale up to that point where he can just deal damage, because you see that in Worlds, if you've been looking at those games, that no Kog'Maw has been picked just because the pick itself is so weak in the early game. Needs a lot of time just to scale up, but when he does scale up, it's really, really strong.
Fair bit amount of trading going on in the bot lane, but nothing too huge. Bubble landing now and again. The Jinx and the Morgana lane, though, doing a good job of just applying pressure and pushing Vayne underneath their turret. And
ooh, that was quite the trade.
Yep, absolutely. Talking again about this Lux being able to push out this Kog'Maw, has to avoid getting rooted. Ooh, missed apprehend there on Darius. If the Darius can land a good apprehend, even if the Nard can jump away afterwards, just the EQ damage would be enough.
But if you look at the middle lane, even though the binding land, if you look at the middle, if you see the Eve looking for the gank, This look like this might be a kill. The Lux pops flash, the snare lands, and she just barely gets away.
I'm so surprised. A lot of Evelyns like to run Ignite, and I'm actually surprised we're not seeing this here either. If, for example, Real Slim Shady had ran Ignite, that would have been first blood for sure.
This is very true.
Again, we're seeing this personal choice in summoners making a difference potentially in the game's outcome. More trading going on bot lane though, just some your regular Vayne punishing, excuse me, Jinx punishing Vayne poke. We do see on the first Echo back, he's going to go for that Trailblazer, the Purple Smite, so that's going to give him a lot more sustain.
Oh, it looks like he might actually meet Evelyn right here.
Evelyn with the double buffs. This should be an interesting trade. Real Slim Shady deciding not to opt out. That's a good decision, seeing as Gnar is pushing Darius into the top lane. If there was to be a fight in that jungle, Gnar will be able to respond first.
You know, the Evelyn might have to be careful here trying to go for this fight, but Karma backing. Lux might be able to collapse, but Lux doesn't seem like she's following up on this.
Karma was in base. That was a really gutsy move by Slim Shady to go for that trade with his mid laner not there. And a questionable decision by Brazil not to roam over and potentially score a kill. Meanwhile, on the top lane, CS is pretty even. However, in terms of lane advantage, I definitely give it to the Gnar right now. Darius is down to one tick left of his flask, I believe. So he's going to be hurting. He's probably going to have to teleport back soon.
But yeah, so far everything looking even in this game. We had to wait until another gank happens though, because the Lux is flashless right now, so the Eve can look to go for that gank in the middle lane. I'm actually surprised that the Eve couldn't like try to go for a gank on the bottom lane, maybe just because it was just pushed up just because the Jinx is way clear, but it would have been a good thing to try to go for a lane gank on the flashless Nami.
Absolutely. Some missed opportunities there, as we see Darius in the top lane is going to be backing. In the bottom lane, farm more or less even, a little bit of a slight advantage to the Jinx, although I believe that's to be expected. Nothing too out of the ordinary right there. Item-wise, we're going to be seeing most of the players back soon for their first items. And the vision-wise, both supports are just staying in their lanes, not really roaming quite yet, so minimal vision across the board. Although Bazel's going to be taking a lot of damage in the mid lane. That's that poke from the tier I was talking about earlier.
You know, a very interesting to notice about the mid lane matchup right there was that you saw the Kalma losing lane earlier on, but when that gank from the Evelyn came through, it set Lux back in terms of experience, and Kalma was able to hit that level 6 before Lux, and he all of a sudden gets this long range advantage over her and could just poke her out before it was him getting poked out by her.
That was very well played by Revelize right there. If you saw that, the Morgana landed the binding onto and Sekla, the Nami support, and then also managed to Black Shield the Condemn. So very nice awareness in that fight. Good
very good micro play.
Very. Fly Guy Rich, still level 4 Echo. He's definitely hurting on the farm a bit there, and this mid Kog'Maw is actually putting quite a lot of pressure. And an interesting decision, if you take a look at Improbable's inventory, that's a giant spell first item. Do you think that's going to be the Frozen Mallet Rush?
I think it might be. It'll either be a Frozen Mallet Rush or it could be a Randuin's Omen, but I think it'll probably be Frozen Mallet just to offer more kiting ability for the Gnar against the Darius. Also offers protection against Darius' true damage ultimate too.
That's a very fair point. Personally, sometimes I like to go for it depends on the lane, but sometimes going for the pickaxe before the belt can be nicer if you're harassing more, but it depends on the lane. If you're afraid, then you usually go for the giant spell. Oh, binding lands on the Vayne, lots of damage going down.
Oh, can this be the kill? The Super Mega Death Rocket hits the Nami, and they both are forced to flash away. Both summer spells used by the bottom lane.
Both ultimates blown as well by the blue side bottom lane, but lots of pressure. I'm liking the way that Muilo and Revelize are playing this bottom lane. And yet, I'm also surprised that despite the amount of pressure that they're applying, Muilo is still even in CS with Srijaja, so Points to Rajada, points to this Vayne for being able to, at the very least, keep up in farm.
That is very good, but also we have the Jinx that'll be able to push down her tower, but the Darius goes for the apprehend, and Gnar doesn't realize that Eve is here, ready for the gank. The ulti comes in, Darius looking for more, and he goes for the flash Q. And that is the first blood going over to Team 6.
that was such a good bait. I don't think that Improbable was expecting the Eve to approach at all. And again, we talked about in the beginning of this game, wow, lots of damage going on to this Lux, not respecting the Cosmo approach.
Echo almost dying the red buff.
And then he sees the...
Oh, Evelyn flashes forward, Echo flashing away. Puts her down the parallel convergence just in case she chases forward, but she just wants the red buff.
That was too funny, actually, that the red buff would have almost killed the Echo there.
About to have another broken shard. But yeah, that was very well played by the Darius still with the Q flash. Very, very unexpected in terms of like Gnar's point of view, because he doesn't know that that was actually going to come forward. But yeah, also well played by the Evelyn in terms of the gank as well.
Right, and as we were talking earlier, if you want to take a look at red or purple side's vision line, they don't have any vision in the blue side jungle. They don't have anything. This Nami has been doing a good job keeping this Vayne alive for sure. But
the Dark Binding lands onto the Vayne. But yeah, it was just a little trait for them. Nothing more comes through.
But to reiterate on this point, just the lack of deep vision coming from the red side is going to be hurting them a lot, because this gives this Evelyn complete free reign to gank whatever lane she chooses from whichever direction she feels like. The only pink ward right now on the side of on the red side is near that mid lane. Another binding, the binding accuracy in this game is actually quite high.
Vayne pops the final hour, uses the Cutlass active for the slow. Keeps going for all attacks, gets exhausted, but she gets CC locked by the Chompers. Jinx getting excited, looking for a potential double kill. Can she get the next auto attack? Nami barely lives.
Oh, that is so unfortunate.
Echo going forward with the phase dive. No damage just comes through onto the Jinx. And it goes up in a 1-for-1 trade for each team.
Jinx canceled the auto. There was a possibility that on the kill reset on the Nami, if Muilla couldn't run away, she could at the very least execute herself. That way, this Jinx would be able to make the best of this poor situation. But another kill!
Oh! That was so close for the Gnar. He was almost able to get the kill on the Darius.
That is so unfortunate. That was one more auto on that Darius. And these baits, man.
Yeah, the synergy between the top laner and the jungler is really strong right now, but Gnar just has to play around his vision. He has to realize that, hey, this Evelyn is coming to gank me. This is the second time I die. I need to get this pink ward down so I could respect the vision and play safe.
I do like this map decision, though. The red side sees Evelyn on the top, taking down their tower, so you immediately go to the dragon, try to make up the worst. Try to make something up of a bad situation. Oh, the Fly Guy taking so much damage.
Oh, he uses the Echo ulti actually for the heal, but I think they're either going to pull out the dragon or they're going to back away for the call.
He doesn't have smite. That's a scary
the teleport comes in from Team 6. The binding lands on the Lux. Well, and he has TP home guard too.
Already. The Flash isn't going to do anything.
And that is a kill for Morgana.
That is such an interesting decision. I have yet to see TP home guard Darius 12 minutes into a match.
You know, I think that was a little miscommunication from Team 4, because you saw how everyone else was backing away from the dragon, whereas the Lux was trying to see if she can do something, or maybe she wasn't expecting the Darius home guard to come through. But yeah.
This game, if you look at the top already, that's a what? That's like a 3.3k gold lead. It's only increasing. This game is going to quickly spiral and snowball out of control. All off the back of this Evelyn making great ganks. This Kog'Maw, surprisingly enough, making the best of what was a poor lane situation.
If you look at the ejector train, though, we have Eve and Darius take the top side tower. Darius bases, teleports in, and they get dragon, and then they also get a mid tower right after that. So that just swings in terms of advantages, because then it's like, what is Team 4 getting when all these ejectors are getting taken away from them?
I feel like that's a point of hesitation from the from Team 4's side, from the captain's calling, because as soon as you see the Evelyn top, you got to make something happen. You either push the bottom lane turret or you get the dragon. They were slow to react to the dragon call, And then at the Dragon Call, Fly Guy Rich, the Echo, took so many skill shots that he had to ult out. And he didn't have a smite up. So just bad communication and bad communication, bad play.
Oh, the bubble lands. Super Mega Death Rock goes in. She gets the kill onto Anami, and she's getting excited, but it doesn't seem like they can do nothing much. And the true damage ultimate comes down. Will the bleed kill the Gnar? And it seems like it just might. He has the HP pots ticking.
Use an ability.
It's not enough.
Oh, what a misplay. He didn't use an ability. Jump, ult, W, anything on the Gnar would have allowed him to live. Once you turn Mega, you gain extra health.
I think what possibly might have happened was that his abilities were on cooldown, but we're looking for at a 2v2 fight right here in the bottom lane. Will this be the death of Morgana? The Soul Shackles comes out, but that's not enough for her, and she goes down. Bing flashes away, trying to kite back on the even. She goes down as well. Jinx coming forward with the auto attack damage. And can they finish the Echo? The Parallel Converters comes down, but it's just not enough, and that is a double kill for Evelyn.
So much damage coming out of this Evelyn. It's going to be with the Rune Glaive, so definitely doing maximum amounts of damage there for this early game. Gnar, just to go back on that previous play against the Darius, Gnar definitely had ultimate, so he could have definitely lived on that. Just unfortunate. Great play all around from Team 6, though, making a good job applying pressure, pushing out every single lane at the same time, and communicating well with the teleports.
Oh, the poke damage is very strong against the Lux right now. Oh, just a lot of damage from the Kalmas. As you can see, he's scaling up really, really well. He actually almost has the finish with his Echo. Just needs 900 more gold.
That's definitely when the mid Kog'Maw kicks into overdrive. Is that level 11 living artillery, Luden's Echo, spike.
Oh, the damage goes on to the Darius, and they're focusing. If he gets stunned, the tidal wave comes out and knocks up 2 targets, but Echo taking enough damage. He lands the Kernel Break as he goes back. Gnar on the back line, trying to get the CC chain going on. It's not enough. Vayne looking for more. She boards the Kog'Maw, who flashes away. Vayne looking to get more in, but she gets hit by the snare. And I think that's all we're going to get from this fight.
Improbable could have made such an amazing play. He had the flank.
Oh, she flashes the snare, misses her snare as well, but I don't think it's just enough for her to do anything.
Blue side, Team 6 needs to be very careful here. This Kog'Maw is
This is going to be the end of this tier 2 tower. Oh, they don't have the wave just yet, but it should be the end of this tower.
I would expect the Kog'Maw to just go back just because he's but yes, this definitely Muilo on this Jinx can definitely take this out for sure.
You know, Team 6 are getting the advantages they need, and they're snowballing it quite well, although that little fight right there in the mid lane was very, very scary for me, because even though Team 6 is so far ahead, it seemed like that fight could have went either way in terms of what happened in terms of positioning and ability usage.
Absolutely, and we touched base on the Team 4's great team fight potential earlier on in the game. And we saw it. Improbable flashed over the wall. He had a great position to ult, but he just used it a little bit too soon, and he only caught, I believe, Boop Bop Bam in the ultimate. But if he had waited a little bit longer, he would have caught the Jinx and the Kog'Maw, and that would have turned the fight around completely.
But yeah, right now, if I was Team 4, I would work on getting more pink boards onto the map for that Evelyn vision. Right here, Evelyn's going for the flank onto Nami, who dodges the Dark Binding. Are also away, but Eve is looking for more, and then she has to go away, and Darius with the home guards coming in for the flank. Vayne trying to kite back away against the Darius threat, but he hits her for a true damage ult as well.
This is the power of a fed TP home guard Darius. It's a really scary sight to behold.
That is very true. He was able to get the ult up, but it looks like they're looking for more. Misses the pull, but it looks like they're going to keep fighting this out, but Lux goes down to the Kog'Maw. The Dark Binding lands onto the Gnar, who's trying to 3v1, but he won't be able to do anything in this situation. The Chris coming from the Jinx, who gets excited as they look to finish off the Echo as well.
Super Mega Death Rocket was already used. But the flash
auto, can she get the auto? Oh, she actually goes down. I think, how did he go down right there? I think that was red buff, actually.
It was red buff and the Morgana Torment Soil. Definitely a good job from the blue side here to just sort of protect each other and increase their vision line as they push up through the jungle. If you have a look, like the vision from blue side is phenomenal. They have vision on both sides. They have moved up their pink board line, whereas you know, we touched base earlier. Red side, they've been faulting on their vision game all game long. They didn't have the pink wards, they didn't have the deep wards needed to deal with this Evelynn, and now they're paying the price.
When it comes to this game, Team 6 was able to snowball the advantages that they got in their lanes pretty well, where you have the Eve providing pressure on the top lane to get the Darius ahead. And then right there, you have the bot lane winning the 2v2 matchup just because they have so much range and CC against the Vayne that Vayne can't really do anything against that lane. And then you have the Kog'Maw, who was having a hard time early, but that one gank from Eve gave him the XP advantage he needed to get ahead in the lane.
And something I always like to look at that in this meta is the top lane, right? The top lane meta is the top lane carries. Just have a look at the gold difference between this Darius and this Gnar. It's ridiculous. 2,500 gold boop bop bam that is on this Darius. Full Black Cleaver, full Home Guard, TP, Merc Treads. Gnar, on the other hand, Improbable, he doesn't even have Frozen Mallet completed yet. Seeing a slight little skirmish over this blue buff, but it will end up going to Bazale. However, you know, blue side is in such a good position. All they need to do is just keep their flanks clear of any wards to avoid the potential Mega Gnar TP behind them, and then just keep pushing up. They have great siege. They have Morgana. They have Morgana bindings. They have Jinx and Kog'Maw poke. And then if anyone does get close, that Darius will just shred up a new one.
But yeah, as you can see, the Echo Jungle wasn't all that strong in this game. He wasn't able to provide that pressure against the Evelynn in the top lane. And it looks like we have damage going on to him, but he just phase dives over the wall to safety.
So much damage coming out of
the Dark Banding line on him would now be a super mega death rocket for the follow-up. And no, he's just fine. Oh, the rocket does come out and he does fall to it. The Dark Binding lands into a pole for the chain CC, and it's just not enough, but Darius goes down as well. Vayne looking to get more onto the Morgana, but she looks like she has to respect the range and the vision.
Unfortunate for Boopop and
another Dark Binding lands onto Lux. Will that be in? Oh my gosh, the Nami goes down.
How much did that Living Artillery hit for? That was a cannon right there. And Revelize on this Morgana.
Oh, the Condemn lands on Morgana. Will this be the kill on her? The Soul Shackles into the Zanyas comes out. Will they be able to kill them in the 2v2? The Cleanse comes out and the Kog'Maw goes down too. Will this pass be able to kill Vayne?
I don't know.
There's a good amount of true damage, but it's not enough.
Great Zanyas there from Revelize to keep himself alive. And I want to know the accuracy on bindings this game, because I feel like this guy has just not missed in the past like 15 minutes. Straight on point, great black dark bindings, great black shields, all around solid play so far.
You know, I think an interesting thing to note about this draft was just the Echo Jungle pick. I feel that instead of picking Echo Jungle for this game, because you saw the Evelynn got picked after the Darius first pick on the second rotation. So if you see the Eve pick, you can go for the Rek'Sai pick because you can see the Evelynn via the Tremor Sense from Rek'Sai provides.
Oh, this is going to hurt a lot. He does have ultimate.
He flashes over the wall and it looks like he will be safe for now.
In this bubble, blue side just going to be clearing away vision and increasing the ward. I want to see, right now, I want to see either blue continue to siege well or work towards Baron, because they can also do a really good Baron bait and they can poke, this Kog'Maw can poke anyone who gets close to them. They're so far ahead. They can basically take this game any way they want to. But here they're going to
this is going to be the death of Echo right here. He chrono breaks this, and he's just not enough. He gets CC locked.
Oh,
but
the bubble!
Wait, will he actually live through this? No, he goes down as well. But Vayne and Nami can't do anything because the Jinx comes for the backup. Condemn onto the Eve, but the Dark Binding lands, and that'll be the death of Nami.
A little late on the exhaust there. If you want to waste, if you're going to use a summoner, if you think you have to use it, just use it, because you know that's the worst situation in which you try to save someone, but then you end up wasting the summoner and you die on yourself.
The Borg after comes out onto the Morgana, who blasts herself, but she pops the Zanya's hourglass as well. Will her teammates be able to save her? But she goes down.
Evelynn on the Gromp, deciding, nope, I'm not going to help you, buddy. Sorry.
But you know, as I was mentioning before about just the Echo Jungle pick, I felt that if he picked Rek'Sai will be able to provide the map pressure you need against the Evelynn threat, because if you set down a tunnel network where you have a tunnel in each lane, you can counter gank via Rek'Sai's ultimate and be able to also keep tabs on the Evelynn, because you know what she'll be just from the Tremor Sense. But it looks like they have this 2v1 against the Kog'Maw, and look, he might actually go down as well with the sun coming out from the parallel convergence.
just Meta World Evil, wrong place, wrong time. Should not have been there. He had no backup. Evelyn and Morgana were both in the base. We're on the draft. I think Fly Guy, I think the Echo was locked in first rotation, and then the Evelyn, I think. But I agree that the Rek'Sai pick would have been significantly better in this situation.
And you see the ping onto the Baron from Red Team. It looks like they might either opt to do the Baron or just contest it.
Here's something I've been wondering about. Notice Boopop Bam went for Sterak's Gage second. I think the item's good on Darius. I don't think it's a bad item by any means. I'm just, in a situation in which you're ahead, I almost always prefer Dead Man's Plate, just because, you know, what does Sterak's Gage do? It gives you 1 moment, nice Binding Lance, but it'll be cleared away. Well, the Evelyn pick managed to happen, though. There it is.
Oh, the smite lands onto Echo for the slow, and he counter breaks back into Morgana, dodges the Dark Binding, gets hit by the spike still, and he'll probably go down as well. And it looks like this team might be able to opt to go for the Baron with the jungler dead.
They are pinging Dragon, though. We'll see where they go. That's a Rylo's Evelyn, by the way. You're not getting away from that. But yeah, just to finish my point, I think Dead Man's Plate is better second item when you're ahead on Darius, just because you're not taking that much damage. You're not concerned about getting killed. You're concerned about just killing faster, just because you're that far ahead. So in that regard, I prefer Dead Man's Plate. But Sterak's is also a safer pick, so I can also understand it.
You know, in the words of my friend, he basically said that Dead Man's Plate is Moby boost for tanks, essentially.
I love it. I pretty much build on every single Juggernaut at this point, just because the movement speed is so nice. Meta World picking himself up a blue buff. He's going to be happy about that. Sitting on Sork shoes, Needless, and his Ludens is probably going to be the finished tier item next, I believe.
Potentially. It could be a Death Cap as well, depending on like where his goal lies. Because it builds into either Death Cap or into the Seraphs.
The tier is fully stacked, so he would get instant Seraphs if he were to buy it. We'll see how he decides to play it out, though.
But yeah, if I was Team 6 right now, what I would do is, because their comp is really strong at sieging with the Kalma poke and the Jinx's long range, so you can either clear the vision on Baron, do the Baron because you have your Jinx with double crits and Darius damage and Kalma damage, or you can look to just rotate around the map and just try to siege and get as much damage onto the inhibitor towers as you can, because your siege is better than enemy teams, but the Dark Binding lands onto a Lux with a pull into their team. We have the parallel converters coming out for a stun as people are going back and forth between the Spike, Jinx getting through on the critical strike damage onto the Echo, and he goes down as well. We have Flash coming back from A, and the only one left alive in this fight is Mei, who flashes away, but will she die as well? And she won't. It is a 4 for nothing for it in this game.
Definitely what you would just call a bum rush assault in that team fight. Darius managing to land the Flash Apprehend, just spectacular damage, instantly taking Bazale out of the fight, and then from there the front line was able to just trudge down against this weak backline of Team 4.
But yeah, as I was mentioning from before in the draft, I wasn't all that convinced by the Lux pick itself. Not that the pick has been doing all that bad in this game considering what has been happening, but it's just when you're so immobile and then something like that happens and you're not running either Cleanse or Ghost to help you out of those situations, it's really, really hard for you to be able to do anything.
Absolutely, and this should just easily be a free Baron. Team 4 doesn't even have any vision of this going on. They're about to get the notification right now. There it is. So Team 6 with the first Baron of the game, rightfully earned. I'm going to like to see how they close this game out, how cleanly they close this game out, if they're going to group as 5 or if they're going to want Darius to split. He does not have teleport, so I expect them to group 5 as probably in the top lane and just siege.
With the gold league in their favor and the fact that they have the Baron buff, they are without a doubt in the best positions to siege. With the mid inhib being taken, you can go either top, you can go either bot, but you have to look at where the minion waves are positioned. So if I was them, what I would do is that I would have a 4-0-1 split push where I have 4 people top lane and you would just have the Darius split pushing bottom, because who on the enemy team can 1v1 Darius?
Of course, no.
But unfortunately, they're opting to go all mid lane.
This is a bit of a minion micro mismanagement. If you see in the bot lane, Team 4's minions are actually pushing towards Team 6's side. So what Team 6 should have done was slow push that wave just kill enough minions so that the wave would slowly push on its own towards the red side base. That way they could just siege top and not have to worry about having to go get the wave bottom. So
this is true.
Instead of having three lanes of minions to deal with, Team 4 only has mid and top to deal with. But here's a potential dive. Landing lands, that's a good Super Mega Death Rocket, and down Echo goes. Luxholt's not going to do much. Evelyn's going to get caught out though. Nice damage from the Vayne. I think that was mainly some miscommunication right there. The Evelyn going a bit too deep. Darius with the missed apprehend. He's just going to walk this out, but he'll be fine.
But yeah, as I mentioned from before, instead of going for that overcommit with the dive under their tower, what they should do is that they should have went for the 4-0-1 split push where you have just everyone but Darius in the top lane. You have Darius just push out bot lane, and then you could just siege 2 towers on all fronts, but they're able to get the inhibitor tower anyway, and they'll be able to get in the inhibitor as well.
Exactly. And that's very... Wow, that crit against Nami, making the Nami flash away immediately.
You know, it was also good Black Shield from the Morgana to keep the Jinx safe from the bubble as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, to be fair, you know, Blue side has done a great job all game long, applying pressure, pushing out the lanes out, getting these picks with this good niche Evelyn pick, and you know they're so far ahead at this point they can do whatever they feel like.
You know, this is a very hard game from Team 4 to try and make an attempt to come back from, just because with you have 2 inhibs down, you have a Jinx and a Darius who are very ahead. You have Evelyn who is also very ahead, even able to go for all damage items. Like when it comes to Evelyn builds, you usually see them sometimes get like that defensive item, like maybe a Banshees or a Ranu, and then go for all the other HP, AP items. But the fact that he can just go just straight up AP and HP items just right now, no defensive stats, just shows how badly Team 6 is snowballing ahead in this game.
Dragon's going to be spawning in 20 seconds. That'll be Dragon 4. And Evelyn with a nice little cheeky gank here. Gnar does not have flash, and Bubble is definitely going down. Godlike for the AD carry of Team 6. And well played overall. 8-1 and 5. Doing great this game. Of course, with the team score is theirs, every member's doing.
Yeah, this is it. The siege for the third inhib comes down now. Now, Team 4 has the option of either letting their inhib go away or just fight this as best as they can. And they're looking to go for the fight, doing this as best as they can underneath the circumstances, with Inami going down.
Misbinding, but the Super Mega Death Rocket from Muela is going to be doing enough damage.
Oh, but the damage from the Call Maul looking to get Vayne, but she was able to get away from it in a nick of time. But as you can see, the Super Minion Waves are pushing slowly into their base. They have to go defend that as Team 6 goes for the Dragon that's live now. And I believe this is their 4th Dragon.
Correct, yep. Going to be securing that objective, backing and buying once more. I don't think this is going to be a wait for a Baron buff. I think Blue Team can just stack as 5, get the respawn inhibitors, and then just end the game. If they want it to be really safe, they could wait for the next Baron, but I don't think that's necessary.
The siege happens for the bottom tower. The whole base is exposed. At this point, it's just a matter of Team 6 grouping as 5, taking all the objectives, and just waiting for a minion wave to come so that they can just take the Nexus towers for free. But the damage comes out, the flash pull, and the Nami just goes away. Holy moly, that is sushi for the day, boys.
Dinner is served, and Darius is your chef. Improbable trying to deal a little bit of poke damage on that Gnar, but